Start with your most visual corner and place a row of tiles. In my example, I'm using 24 by 24 tiles, and here's a rough layout of my bathroom floor plan and what it looks like. As you can see, there's a lot going on, so this is a perfect example to explain how to lay out a bathroom floor tile. Or if you're doing a small room, that'll be even easier because you will have less features. If you want, you can measure and document everything out to do the layout on paper. However, I'll show you how to do without that. The idea is to have as many bigger pieces as possible in the most visual spots as possible. By bigger, I mean the pieces have to be at least half of the tile or greater. Whenever possible, try to have a whole tile or close to a whole tile. Once I laid my tile out like this, you can see I'll have a small piece right here and along this edge and this edge over here. Since I don't want these small pieces, here's what I'm going to do. I want to move these pieces that way, but I'll have to make sure that the pieces on the sides are not too small as well. To do that, I need to measure how much I need to move these pieces. And it looks like I need to move roughly about 10.5 inches. Next, what you do is measure here and see what you have. So since my tile is 2 feet, and this is where we're at, the remaining is measured to be at 38 inches. So that means I can move 10 more inches with no problem and still be at 48 inches, which will fit exactly 2 tiles in this space. Then you do the same thing on the other section. So here I have 2 feet for one tile, 4 feet is another tile, and I'll have another 10 inches to spare for the third tile, which basically I'll have about 2/3 of a tile here. Now the last thing of this piece is to see if I can move this that way. So I measure it here to see how much I need to move it. And I measure it this way to see what I got here. So at 5 feet, I'm at almost 1 piece, and at 6 is a whole piece. So adding 4 more inches to 66 puts me at 70, which means I can fit a big tile that I just have to cut 2 inches off, which isn't bad at all. So now that this tile fits in all the way over there, it's 1 full piece. I don't have to cut. I put another one to make sure that they're straight. And now I can take measurements here to see how far in I have to push, and measurements right here to push all this that way and do my cuts on the 3 tiles. So here's my first piece, which is one right here. It's a 24-inch piece. So I'm going to have a 27/8 on this side, 13 3/4 on this side, and 7 5/8 on this side. So it's going to go like this into that slot over there. And the way I determine that is basically measuring here, and that's where 13 1/4 comes from, and then measuring that side over here, and that's where 7 5/8 comes from. And then you add those together and you get 27/8, which is going to be the size of this piece. So now I'm going to cut this off and basically do the same thing on this one, and then see where that one comes out to be, to see what I need to cut. Also, I need to measure this side to get me 5 inches and 3/8. Once I made the cut, this is how it looked like. There's enough room here because the baseboard's going to cover it. And here's my edge. So I went ahead and cut this piece too. Made sure it's flush with this edge and tried to minimize the gap. And that way, now I can measure this distance and then measure this distance and figure out what my piece needs to be over here, which I actually cut and I'm going to install right now. So this piece from the first try doesn't fit. As you can see, I need to cut off more on this side. I'm going to have a baseboard covering this anyway, so I can cut off more. But as you can see, it's a smaller gap and a bigger gap here. And I still have some room in the tile to move that way. And I'm binding right here, and I can't move this tile that way because it's already up against the wall. So I gotta cut this edge right here too a little bit. We'll see how it goes. And just like that, we moved the entire row to the left. Now it's time to do this side. So with everything calculated out, it looks like I messed up a little bit because, as you can see, I'm gonna have small pieces down this wall, which I didn't account for, or nor did I forget. So even though it's nice and big pieces over here, I don't have small pieces here. I'm gonna have small pieces there, which is fine at this point. But in the future, what I could have done is could have moved it another 3 inches, so let's say halfway up to here, and that way this edge would align right here straight. It would have been probably a lot better with full pieces here, and then this piece would have been, you know, like that. So yeah, but you know, it's one of those things that you just live and learn. Next step is to start laying the tile, and if you want to see how I cut the toilet hole, then check out this video right here.